And now we're going to talk about lead vocals, because what is more important in the trifecta of a song than drums, bass, and lead vocal? I just went through all of the guitars with Kato at the break, and it's all basic stuff on the guitars, okay? And I'll show that to you, but really basic stuff. What's important here, drums, bass, vocals. Once you get that right, you've got a song. Why? Because you've got a groove, you've got a foundation of the tonic of your chords, the bass, so we can put a melody on top of it. Between the melody in the lead vocal and the tonic in the bass, you have a chord. You have a chord progression. You could release this, I don't know if anybody buy it, but you could release it with drums, bass, and a vocal, and people would at least be able to tell you what song it is. So.
Is it always in that order for your process?
9 times out of 10. 9 times out of 10, drums, bass, because that's a unit. So drums first, then bass, and I'm a drummer first, so that's, you know, for me, that's what I want. Drums, bass, and then I'll add in the vocal immediately afterwards, because you have to kind of establish the phantom center of your song, the core of your song. Because effectively you have kick, bass, and the bass kind of does this because of the chorusing we put on it. It's going to go like this around the lead vocal. Lead vocal is going to be here, bass, kick drum, snare's going to live in here as well. Once you have this, now we get to play filling in all the sides, okay? So let me see here. Okay, so let's go to those sessions. So here's our lead vocal. That is our waveform. There we go. There's our lead vocal. So I've turned all the plugins off. Now we have the clean lead vocal. So now what I want you to hear about this lead vocal is that, first of all, not only is he a really great singer, but he has a really interesting raspy distortion that is built into his vocals. And I noticed this at the studio when I was recording him, is that he actually came with some smoky distortion in him. So listen to his vocal real quick by itself. I've already done some basic editing as far as making sure I've comped everything I wanted, and I did already go back through and do some light Melodyning on this. As you'll see, it says lead vox money, meaning that I processed through Melodyne. Melodyne was up, I followed that with virtual tape machines and printed through virtual tape machine onto the new audio track. So if I go into my bin right here on the left, you will see new lead vocal. You can see all the different punches we did, right? That, of course, I had playlists for days, right? You don't need to see all that.
Beautiful.
They're just recordings, you know, playlists for days. And then this is here. So as you can see, it was Melodyne and then into virtual tape machine. These two things were just while I was working. This became these, and Vocal Writer went over to here. So just ignore these two right here. Bus 2 is right here. That's how I captured the audio, okay? So what got printed was Melodyne and virtual tape machines. Okay. Virtual tape machines just to give it that love, you know what I mean? There's harmonics and all the good stuff that happens there. So
yeah, I like those.
I love harmonics. Okay, so here is the solo of the lead vocal.
Friday night, back inside, and I like it this way. Favorite show, Pacifico, perfect end of the day. I'm feeling this lonely feeling. It's getting late, but I don't want to leave yet. Got a call on the phone, wonder who it could be. It's the boys making noise about this girl I should see. I feel like I might be healing. They got her on the phone and this is what she said. Hey, why don't I just come on over? I like the sound of that. I like the sound of that. Hey, why don't we just get together? I like the sound of that. Hey, 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 whoa. Now she's gone.
Okay, so what I wanted to make sure I kept in his lead vocal is this like early John Mayer speech level breathy thing that happens. You can hear it right here.
Hey, hey,
hey,
hey, hey,
yay.
hey, 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 hey.
Okay, and then the other thing I want you to notice is I didn't actually do anything to the breaths.
Friday night, back inside, and I like it this way. Favorite show, Pacifico, perfect end of the day. I'm feeling this.
Right there.
Yeah.
He takes a big breath. Now I actually did to this one. But I think what happened is I was turning it on and I went, no, I missed the breaths, because for this guy, the breathiness of his vocal kind of makes the record. And I think that if I was producing him again, I would probably make the same decision. It's that early John Mayer kind of sexy, cool thing, because for me, that breathiness makes it feel like somebody's whispering in my ear. So like, I see where Cato's distance to me is here, but if I were to lean in like this, that's where I would hear all the breath, okay?
Yeah.
So that's what we're creating by enhancing this breath, okay? So just
It makes it organic and personal too, to leave it in.
Well, and he's talking to her, right? And he's on the phone with her talking to her. He's talking about, she called me up and blah, blah, blah. So I thought, okay, let's sex appeal. I want to give this guy, I want to bring his sexy back, right? So again, thinking about early John Mayer and all that and the high-end stuff to get him really kind of sensual, right? So
that's leaving the breaths in. That's not something that's your signature sound. That's like because of the genre and the song.
I
right?
started to take the breaths out, and when they were gone, I missed them. So I said, you know what? I'm going to leave it alone.
Cool.
In this song, I thought the breaths made the vocal. Some people might argue with me on that, and that's okay. If the singer came to me and said, hey, Doc, can you get rid of those breaths? I would say yes. Sure, you want those gone? No problem, do it. And I would do it with clip gain, just like you saw there. I just go through, takes just a second, I just grab them and I mute them down like that.
Okay.
But listen to that breath right there.
Friday night, back inside, and I like it this way. Favorite show.
Versus with the breath in.
Friday night, back inside, and I like it this way. Favorite show.
It's rhythmic. He's this for some reason I like the breaths, so just roll with me on that. Every song is different. On this one, I left the breaths in.
Well, also with the added breath before and after the syllables, it's almost like it doesn't sound right if he doesn't take a deep breath at some point because
Absolutely
he's
agree.
putting out so much air.
100% agree. And so instead, let's going to enhance those. So the part where we may get a little overboard is that when I bring in the parallel compression, if it were to go overboard and the breaths were to become like wild, then I would go back in and I would reduce them by clip gain until they were there but not wild. So that's the other option there. Okay, so as you can see, it's a fairly stable lead vocal with some louder parts. Now, you can see the automation here jumped up, and when we were listening, I heard that. So what I did is I turned the automation off so that it wouldn't do that jump anymore, okay? So, yeah, so we'll dig right into it. So back to